Hello everyone and welcome to this special channel update. So, basically, over the next 3 weeks or so, 3 or 4 weeks, I'm going to be incredibly busy on what you can see in front of you, which is my entry for the Torn Banner Chivalry level design contest. Now this is the second phase and it's all about basically polishing your map and stuff. So I thought I would show you around this map, talk a bit about it and why I'm taking a hiatus from my channel, from scheduled releases on my channel, I should say, for the next couple of months, or next couple of weeks, just so I can get through this stage without being distracted by other things. So this is Cove, which is a team objective map. So team objective maps are basically, they're a bit like assault maps from Unreal Tournament. You have two teams, you have a series of objectives, and the attacking team has to complete the objectives, the defending team has to stop the attacking team doing so. And the attackers win if they complete all the objectives, and the defenders lose, or the defenders win if the timer runs out. And Chivalry is an interesting game. If you've never played it before, it's pretty fun. It's basically a hack and slash first-person shooter, I guess. It's a little bit like if you were to play, say, Skyrim online with lots of people, with all the sort of story elements removed. So it has things like various different types of medieval weaponry. It has different strikes, so you'll have an overarm or a stab or a slash for each of those weapons, and it has proper blocking and dodging and all that sort of interesting, cool mechanics. So the Fortification map contest is a competition run by Torn Banner in association with Unreal Engine and Logitech and Nvidia and a couple of other companies, and really the idea is to bring more players into Chivalry, I guess, and into modding Chivalry, which does seem to have worked. And there's $250,000 worth of prizes, some of which have been given out. The competition was split into 2 rounds. The first round ended after 2 months, and the second round will end after 2 months after that, so 4 months in total. You don't get disqualified if you don't win something in the first round, and there were said prizes given out in the first round, and I won the first round with this map. So let's take a look at it. For reference, the reason why I'm going on to a hiatus is that the second round finishes at the end of this month, the 30th. And then I'm actually away for a week as well after that. So I need to concentrate on this map and get it all finished and get it all polished before the end of this month. And then I'm away, so I won't have time to pre-record a lot of stuff. I'm going to try and record a chunk of things so that I can release videos occasionally as I'm away and as I'm working. But there won't be a schedule. There won't be a video every other day like there has been, and yeah, that's about it really. Pardon me. Also, for reference, as I've said in several videos, and you might not have watched those videos, but I have hay fever. It's annoying. It's the middle of summer. I might currently sound like I have a sofa jammed in my nasal passages because that's kind of how it feels. So taking a bit of a hiatus for the next couple of weeks. Hopefully we'll get over the worst of that, but we'll see. So yes, that is technically the channel update done. So if you don't want to hear me talk about this map further, then feel free to stop watching now. Oh, actually, before you go, don't go. I will be back to scheduled releases sometime in the second week of July. Sometime in the second week of July, I'll go back to sort of more scheduled releases. It might take me a day or two to wind back up into it, but that's my plan. because I'm away from the 30th for a week, and then I'm back, and something's happening that weekend, but I'll have a couple of days of not doing anything, in theory, to work on some videos. Anyway, so let's talk about this map in a bit more detail. The competition requires there to be 3 objectives, 3 unique objectives, and various other things, but the important thing is that it has to be a team objective map, and it has to have 3 objectives, and it has to implement a bunch of stuff that you need to have implemented, including HUD markers and stuff like that. So I've turned the HUD markers off for reference. I'm in spectate mode at the moment because I don't want to have to do talking about this over fighting. So anyway, the first objective here is bringing down this portcullis. This portcullis here, which is the way through into the town there. This is situated in a bit of a cove, hence the name. Let's see out there, walls around us. 2 minutes remain in the battle. Oh god, I better hurry up then. I wonder if there's a stop timer command. 5 minutes, not 2 minutes. Okay, that's fine. 5 minutes is fine. I might have to restart this mission map. Anyway. So, to bring down this portcullis, there are these cannons. These stout-looking cannons, which I actually need to work on the mesh for. It's a little simple. It needs a little bit of work on it. It needs a little bit of love. But the attackers will spawn in the caves over here. Attackers spawn in the caves. They run down here, either to this cannon or the cannon over there, and they have to stand by it for, I can't quite remember what the number is. You have to stand by it for a time while it loads. It then fires a shot into the portcullis, and the portcullis takes damage. And after a certain number of shots, the portcullis goes down and allows the players to go through. Pardon me. I muted myself there, but that was a sneeze, and I didn't take my hand off the mouse, so I kind of went probably. Anyway, the players need to have 4 shots to take down the portcullis from one of these 2 cannons. It can be any mixture, so it can be 1 and 3, or 2 and 2, or 3 and 1. It doesn't really matter. As long as that takes 4 shots, it goes down. Now, if there are no enemy players, if there are no attacking players, in range of one of these cannons, it won't load. It'll stop where it is. It won't unload, but it'll stop the progress. If then a defending player comes within range, it'll start unloading the cannon, but it'll unload at half the speed it loads at. So if the defenders can keep all the enemy players off this cannon, then it will completely unload, but it won't obviously undo damage done to it. Now the decision, I initially had 3 cannons, and it would decide at the start of the game which cannon you were using. So it would hide all 3 cannons, and then it would replace, or it would show one of the cannons. Now this was done initially to try and stop the attackers just rushing to the same location each time, and try and get a bit more variation in the gameplay. It would also give the attackers a bit more time to set up, because their spawn is in this gatehouse, and they can come out of here and immediately see where the cannons are easier than the attackers can. The attackers can. But that kind of didn't work. It ended up with very central fights around the cannon. So the choice between having 2 cannons kind of split the players up. This was a suggestion after the first round, that players were focusing too much on one area of this map. So hopefully now the attackers will run to one of these cannons, probably split up, and it'll make much more of a dynamic fight between these 2 locations. There's also a cooldown timer, so after this cannon is fired, it cools down for a certain number of seconds, and then it can be fired again. That kind of gives time for the attackers to clear out the cannon, or possibly run to the other objective. It also stops people chaining as easily, and it gives the attackers a bit of a break. So the defenders a bit of a break. So sorry, it gives the attackers a kind of braking function so that they can sneak in a couple of shots while the oh bloody hell while the attackers are defending. Um, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the recording. I'm going to restart the map and I'm going to get my time back. And I'll probably take down these. So I will return shortly. So, once the portcullis has been destroyed, the map moves on to the next section, but something I forgot to talk about is these towers. These are watchtowers, which players can climb up onto and fire arrows from. It's kind of useful, but they can also be burnt by players throwing torches on them, so they're pretty useful. I haven't actually seen them being used that much, so I don't quite know what players think about them, but I thought it was kind of a cool mechanic, so I put it in. So the next stage is the cart push in the town. So the idea here is you have a cart and you have to push it. And the attackers, well, as long as there are more attackers around it than there are defenders, the cart gets pushed. If there are no attackers around it but defenders, obviously the cart stops in certain locations, which I'll point out. In that situation, the cart will start to reverse. Similar to a payload map on Team Fortress, it just makes sure that the defenders have a chance of basically defending themselves, have a point of defending. So this space becomes the attacker spawn. So the attacker spawn have a choice of running left or right, coming down, getting the ram, pushing the ram up here. I'll show you where the path goes. By the way, this is still a work in progress. There's still a bit to do. I'm pretty happy with this section of the map, but you'll soon see a section of the map I'm not so happy with. So the cart gets pushed up here, up towards this building up here, which is what needs a lot of the work. Comes to rest here, bashes on the door, pushes the door down, and then you get into the cathedral, which is in there, which I'll talk about later. So the design in this area includes some spawn forwarding mechanics, and to best explain, I shall come up to a view from above. Now you'll see two bridges here. The bridge sort of in the centre, and the bridge sort of at the top with the thatch roof on it. As the cart moves along here, and I may be drawing on top of this in Photoshop, I haven't quite decided yet. I probably will. When the cart moves forward on this, it goes back in sort of the sections around the bridges, and it also... I need to zoom out a bit actually. Okay, now I'm probably drawing over it in Photoshop. So, yeah, the cart spawns at the bottom of the hill, comes all the way up to the top where the cathedral is, and yeah, players spawn in the gatehouse. The defenders spawn near the bridges. So in the first stage, they spawn just south of the first bridge, and in the second phase of this map, they spawn just to the right of the second bridge, and then just to the left of the second bridge at the top when it goes into the third phase. The defenders move to the north of the first bridge, and then to the left of the second bridge, and then to the top of the second bridge. So I'll draw in Photoshop and draw over the top of this image so you can see exactly where I'm talking about. Yeah, so this is... The basic idea is that as the cart progresses through the map, the spawn points change and keep things dynamic. There are a couple of things on here that are designed for the defenders to give a bit more defendability. There are several back routes and second paths, particularly around the first bridge. There's also a lift that brings players up from the base of back at the bottom where the where the attackers spawn, there is a lift that brings them up. This is designed to give an attacking opportunity onto the second bridge, on which there are some ballistas. It also allows the defenders, if they want to, as we move towards the second and third phase, to kind of come in behind players and sort of flank from the rear. It's a bit of a trek round, but I've had reports that there are lots of useful little techniques like that you can use to get around. I was relatively happy with how this turned out. It required a lot of work on paper to get the design down, and then it required a fair amount of playtesting to get it to feel right, and I was happy with it. It's been mostly arted. Most of the art has been completed for this section. There's little bits I need to do. There's lots of I need to put in a lot of effects and a lot of sounds, but generally the layout and the majority of the art I'm pretty happy with. So as we approach the first bridge, we have these pots of oil on top which get dropped onto players and burn them. This is the second attacker spawn with the lift next to it, which brings you up a level. And on the second bridge we have, if I can get onto it, we have these ballistas which are pointed directly at the path of the ram, and it's useful to be able to get up here from various areas. So this is the second phase. I'm pretty happy with this. We'll take a look at the third phase in a moment. I just need to actually get the ram pushed all the way up. So I will just do that, and I will talk to you in a moment. So with the ram pushed in place and the cathedral door knocked down, we move into the third phase of this mission, this map, which is sacking the cathedral. Now currently, obviously, this art isn't final. I've been working quite hard on getting this into shape. I'll show a couple of screenshots at the end, I guess, of it coming together. However, this objective is a little more complex. There are a few categories, objectives. The first one, it's saying defend because it thinks I'm on the defender side. The first one is to kill these worshippers, or heathens, depending on which side you're on. There are two sets. There is one set at the front, one set at the back. There are 6 in total. There are 6 for each group, sorry, that spawn, and there are 12 in total. So after you've killed the first 6, or on killing one respawns until 12 have been killed. And that's one objective. Second objective, a second objective, is to destroy the altar, which has a high degree of hit points. A third or fourth, dependent, is to burn the library. And the final possible objective is to destroy all of these statues. Now, players only need to complete 4 of these to win the map, to complete the map. So as you see there, at the bottom right, objective status, 0 out of 4 areas have been sacked. So players only need to kill both sets of worshippers and either burn the library, destroy the central altar, defend the statue. Well, one of those. Now, people have said various things about this, ranging from it's impossible for the attackers, or it's impossible to defend. So a lot of tweaking has been done on this, and It's generally been the most difficult part of the map to get right. Um, say section 2 was the most difficult part to plan, but it mostly came together quite nicely once the planning had been done. Um, but yeah, it only kind of required the planning section. The second stage sort of required the planning to be right. This has taken a lot more to get right. For a while, I had it so that players couldn't leave, the attackers couldn't leave through this door, but that just created a massive bottleneck as players kind of stood here and just bottlenecked horribly. So now it's much more open. The defenders spawn in the building back here in the centre of my vision. They run down past the ram, enter the cathedral. The defenders spawn quite far back actually. They spawn through this door in that building, and they have access to either the library or come straight here. This gives the attackers a bit more opportunity to spread out inside the building. They can also destroy this bar, which opens up into. Can I actually get there? Can I go through the windows? Do they have collision? Oh, they do have collision. Shut up. Oh, I know what doesn't have collision. So you can destroy that bar. Because I'm in spectator mode, I can do that. Because you can destroy that bar, open up these doors, and then the defenders spawn alternatively from here and from the front, which gives the attackers a lot more to think about, and the defenders a lot more to. The defenders a lot more to think about. My brain is a little fuzzy today. It gives the defenders more to take into account, more to look for. Anyway, once 4 objectives have been complete, the map finishes. The timing, for example, with talking about things and recording, I only have 2 minutes left because of the way this map is planned. The general feel of it should be that the first stage lasts a little longer than it has done in the past, and sort of acts as a buffer for phase objective 2, and objective 3 should be longer by the cumulative time from the other stages to complete. So basically, if you're a defender, the way you win this map is you basically win it in rounds 1 and 2. Once you get into round 3, it can be very difficult to win if rounds 1 and 2 have gone really quickly. If you're an attacker, you want to get through rounds 1 and 2 as quickly as you can, because then you'll have lots of time to try and complete objective 3. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you scheduled again after the end of this month. 1 minute remains. So yes, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you soon, I guess. Goodbye.